Hi. As I mentioned in my last video, in the second semester of the summer, I was taking a statistics course, which right off the bat, I have to tell you, I really don't like statistics classes. Especially don't like saying them, so I'm going to be stumbling through it this entire video. I've taken 3, one in high school, one as an undergrad, and now one in grad school, and every one of them has given me problems, and part of that is the subject matter, and part of it's because it seems like all of my stats classes have been taught by madmen. My high school stats teacher said so many weird and poorly worded things that the students started tracking quotes from him and trading them with each other. We had a little booklet of them all. My most recent stats professor said a lot of weird stuff too, to the extent that during the first live class that we took, I started live tweeting the class because the things that he was saying were just so bizarre. He was talking about like unchangeable natural tendencies that populations have, and used a fat Oprah and a drugged up Robert Downey Jr. as examples of things that never change from their norm. He discussed central tendencies of populations by using the Miss America pageant, and he talked about the pageant for like 20 minutes straight. And he finished it up by saying, "I like Sandra Bullock, she's a very attractive lady." Now don't miss the point, there were a lot of normal distributions. Like that's a normal transition to make. Near the end of the class he told us, if you're getting your MBA, you're going to make a lot of enemies and people who hate you. You need to cook your food well. And when he was telling us why we need to study for the classes, he said, the moment you have something you want to do, Satan will send you a boyfriend or a girlfriend and say, "Oh, let's go to the movies, let's get drunk," and then you're going to fail. And a lot of these weird tangents aren't even things that just came up off the top of his head, because if you watch the recorded lectures that he put up, a lot of them appeared there too, which means they're just his preferred method for talking about these different concepts, and they never really made any sense. In fact, they made it so I understood the course less when I listened to him talk about it, because I didn't understand where he was going with it. And the thing is, he's the first professor that's actually recorded lectures on over like a PowerPoint presentation, so that there was actually something to watch as opposed to just something to read. And it was actually the closest thing to what I was expecting from a class, except everything that he said was completely batty. And he also talked really slowly, so just overall it wasn't really a great experience. In fact, that first class that we had, because of all the tangents and the speed that he talks and everything combined, it was supposed to be an hour long, and it ended up taking 2.5 hours to get done. It started at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock my time, and went on until 10:30 at night. And that's just a ridiculous amount of time that late to be listening to somebody talk about stats, especially when half the time he's not actually talking about it. And this is a situation I've run into in every statistics class I've ever taken, and it always results in me getting more confused when I listen to the teacher, so I just give up on listening to him and teach the class to myself. The last 2 classes I had, I ended up tutoring people because I was able to explain it better than the teacher was, even as I was struggling to learn it myself. So the class is over now. I got a pretty good grade, despite the insanity of my professor, and that's all I really need to say about that. But I wanted to talk now to a very specific part of my audience. Now, I know lots and lots of college professors watch my videos. No college professors watch my videos, and they all really need my advice. No college professors need my advice. So I'm gonna help you out a little right now. You might be a fantastic teacher in the classroom, really good at motivating everyone and making them want to learn and pay attention to you and everything, and that's fantastic. But the moment you go and you record a lecture that's going to go online, you need to remember something very important. The student that's listening to your recorded lecture right now is using a device that gives them access to literally every surviving form of recorded entertainment in all of human history. Whether they want to get a dubstep remix of a ukulele cover of We Are Young that was uploaded 30 seconds ago, or a picture of a cave painting that was put up 10,000 years ago, they can find it within seconds on the very same device that they're using to listen to you lecture about economic theory or whatever. And that's some serious competition. And unlike in a classroom where you can see somebody staring at their computer or their phone and you can say something to them, you can try and engage them or whatever, for all you know, that student is in another room getting a snack while you're talking. You have no way to know that, so you need to try and get their attention. Especially if you're just a disembodied voice over a PowerPoint presentation. It's going to be hard to get them to focus as much as they might want to. So here are a few tips. 1, keep up the energy. You might be really energetic and interesting in class, but when you're sitting in a room just talking to a microphone, it can be easy to forget that there's an audience on the other side whose attention you're trying to capture. I know that because if you go back and watch some of my older videos, you'll see I talk much more slowly, a lot less energy, more quietly, and that's an example of what happens when you forget about the audience on the other side. I'm just talking to a camera, so I forget that, somebody theoretically is going to be watching this. So if you want to see what it's like, just go back and watch some of my older videos. Actually, just go back and watch some of my older videos anyway, just because I like when people watch my videos. But it took me a while to learn that lesson, that, you know, energy and speed and the idea that you're talking to somebody is really important. And I still forget it sometimes. Sometimes I slow down. I forget that I'm talking to a person, and, you know, I focus so much on what I'm going to say that I forget how I'm going to say it. Writing a script might actually help with that. If you have some idea of what you're going to say, then you don't have to slow down and pause and think about it a whole lot, and it can maybe get the words out faster, and also in the most interesting way that you can think of. It gives you a chance to plan how you're going to word it. Obviously, you can deviate from the script, but using the script helps. It's a start. It gets your brain working and thinking about what you're going to say before you say it. Number 2, edit, which is kind of a continuation of the first tip about keeping your energy up. Again, if you watch those old videos, you'll notice I spend a lot of time saying and looking up in the corner and trying to think of what I'm going to say next. If you cut all of those bits out, you get a much more energetic, interesting video to watch. So again, in a situation where a student might not even be seeing your face, it's all that much more important to cut out the, you know, extended pauses and things. And also, if you didn't script and you end up going off on some sort of weird tangents, editing can make you realize a student might not be interested in listening to you talk for several minutes about J-Lo like my stats professor did. All that extra unnecessary stuff and pauses and things can make a 10-minute video feel like a Ken Burns documentary. And that's just a recipe for losing the attention of your students. So learn to cut out the extra bits before you upload it. Because watch this. I just changed into 5 different shirts in less time than it took my stats professor to figure out how he was going to start talking on a new slide. All that pausing is a waste of everybody's time, and everybody does it. There's nothing wrong with your teaching style just because you pause. It's just hard to watch on a video, and even harder to listen to in just a recording when all you're doing is staring at an unmoving slide on a screen. Your students probably care a lot about what you have to say, but you're dealing with a world in which video just moves very quickly. You know, when you're on the computer, it's really hard to focus on one thing at a time. That's just the world that we live in. You can be doing a million different things at once, so when you actually have to sit and focus on one thing and really get a lot of information out of it, it's important that that information come quickly and without a lot of distractions. I'll probably carry more forward from this class about how to talk to people online than I actually will from statistics. I really hope it helps me talk to you better in the future, and if any professors actually ever do watch this, I hope it helps you with your own students. In the meantime, my very brief summer vacation is nearly over, and I will be starting a new class at the end of next week. But anyway, I hope I've been able to teach you something without boring you, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!